this up. You know what? Let's just see. I'm gonna still do the intro anyway. Oh no, I am. Oh no.
You are now enjoying the Omar experience. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe.
Hello, it's me, your boy, and I'm with the other boys.
Hello.
We are doing a further part of the bit we were doing before. Let me put on some music. Since you're here with me on Valentines.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I said it was working, but is it actually working? Oh my god. Is it working? Can one of you check for me? Let's just make sure. Oh no, it is working. Okay, sweet, cool.
Yeah, it looks like everything's working.
Okay, good. You know, sometimes if you have a failure to start, just get a little blue pill. It's all fine.
Just get
What were we chatting about before that wasn't Diamond spoilers? Because we were talking about that.
Yeah.
That's right,
What was
man.
going on
Who needs
yesterday?
things to work when you have vibes? You're absolutely right.
Yep. I mean, recently I got hired to draw something for Nate
Ooh.
for his birthday that he had on Sunday.
Oh, wait, shit. Happy birthday from then. My guy.
Yep. And I'll just send you the full scale thing I got.
Okay.
And
He
in
drew.
response, I am cooking.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. I like that. That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's an awesome image.
Yeah.
Damn.
She also had like a different idea originally, and then
wanted
she
to show
completely
stream
scrapped
that
it. She
real
thought it was
That image is badass.
Modeled off
Yeah.
my real hair, by the way.
Huh? Really? Damn. Your hair crazy.
My hair
Yep.
can be crazy sometimes.
Also, man, I'm glad you're with me for Valentine's, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and this was completely improvised by her as well. Like, I just told her, like, this is what his character looks like. And he's like the lore master, and he's really knowledgeable about Naruto. And then she just cooked from there.
Okay, damn.
Mhm.
Okay, so I need to get.
Yeah, and
this
I'm
up.
currently, in response, as a thank you, I am currently cooking for her.
Nice, okay. Wait, cooking how?
I've switched, not food, I'm not shipping. I'm currently switching up Sharp. I think this song might fit a little bit better.
Probably.
So if you want
I
to
suggested that because, like, she's super, like, Broly, like, mega love for Broly.
Yeah.
That would be, like, a good idea.
Oh, do some like skate. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, that'd be sick.
Are you, by the way,
Hmm?
do you know about Hyde's second account?
No, I keep asking for it, and she refuses to give it to me. Because no one gives
Well,
me the
why don't-
NSFW stuff.
Well, then let me grab that for you.
She's probably like, no, wait.
Wait.
We don't actually
To
need
figure
it.
out how I'm rotating this foot.
She likes New Broly. New Broly ain't metal guitar.
Yeah.
Mm,
Found it.
what?
Oh, and you should see some of the shit she's cooked up for fucking Valentine's Day.
Oh,
That's why I really want to show. Here, I'll actually just send you just.
Wait,
it's
Radio,
fucking-
Surf Punch stood you up? How dare he?
He did not. I did not. My fucking suit. No, because no. So, I originally got. I believe I told you I got in trouble and I was
Oh, yeah.
told to go back to my original base, right?
Yeah.
And the original plan was that they were allowing me to swing by a radio's place on the way back, stay there the weekend, and then come back.
Yeah.
But then they went back on that promise, saying like, "Oh, that they don't want to be responsible for me if something bad happened."
What?
So I have to head back, like, fully.
That's so BS.
No, the deadline was be there by the end of the day, and then one of our supervisors had to see me on base to confirm that I was there. They said if I wanted to do anything else after that, they don't care, as long as. But just like, man, if you don't care about where I go afterwards, then why do you care about whether I make it to base or not? Like, if like, oh man, it was just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, man, what am I gonna do out there in Mitchell? Like, that's gonna be so unearthly dangerous.
I mean, you are a menace.
Yeah, I guess. But here, this is one of the things that I drew for, and it's not showing up for some reason. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. Let me fix that link. There we go.
He missed the Choco Taco time. Oh no. Oh, okay. I don't think I can show that on stream, but damn.
Yeah, you were not showing that on stream.
Almost infinitely.
If you,
it is infinitely important we speak tonight after stream. By the way, okay.
All right. No matter what I do, Serpent, with this hammer, clavier, guitars ain't gonna work. So she gonna have to fucking suck it up. She ain't get no guitar. Let's find something different. Ooh, what about Relica?
but other thing that's happening right now, Omar, is I'm currently in development of a website.
Oh, okay. The Surfbone
Yep.
website where we share all our love for Surfbone.
Not exactly.
Oh.
It's actually because the thing was like there's been some changes to the character stats tiering systems, and we don't really have control over that.
Okay.
And eventually that bothered me enough to where I'm like, I initially thought like fuck it, I'll just make my own wiki.
Oh. By the way, hey Sisby.
And
Sisby? Whatever. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
so yeah, initially that was the first idea, and then we kind of talked over Hashi. We kind of just talked about how there's like some fundamental problems with creating a wiki.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how do you just create another wiki without being just seen as like another wiki? Like, oh, another power scaling fandom wiki has been created. It's like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have to deal with the whole idea about creating character profiles, which I just did not want to touch whatsoever. Because I think that's like one of the more inherent problems with versus Battle Wiki and character stats.
Why is that's one of the more inherent problems?
So the main concern that people have with versus Battle Wiki is always having to make these threads in order for them to get them to change their standards for certain characters and how they're scaled, right?
Okay.
Like, that's the main talk always when it comes to VSB. It's never about their standards changing, it's about whether or not a character is upscaled or not.
Okay.
And then character stats, even though it has an infinitely better system than VSB, the main criticism thrown at it for why people can't take it seriously is the fact that it has freedom that it was on the website.
It has a what? Sorry, on the what?
Is not a fair. Anybody can create a profile on character stats.
Yeah.
Essentially, and because people are not used to that, and they're more used to how VSB does things, it's alien. That idea is alien to them, and they like, well, which one should I like think is the one that's more true or whatever? And people can just create these absurdly like bad profiles that where characters are scaled incredibly high for no real good
reason. I'm assuming you were meant to say. I hope that's not my internet failing. Oh no, it's the bad internet arc back.
No, for some reason it fucking it muted me for some reason.
Oh.
But yeah, basically people don't like the fact that anyone could create a profile because then even morons can create them. And even though I don't think that's a fair criticism whatsoever,
yeah,
it's something you can't control. Like, unless you actively make it to where it's basically the same as versus Battle Wiki, then you can't just make everyone accept the fact that anyone can create a profile on there.
Yeah.
And then every other wiki is just basically versus battle wiki, but their own version. It's just like they create the profiles, they create the standards, yada yada. That's every other wiki after that. So I'm like, I don't want to be. It's like, if we just create another wiki, then we're just differentiating ourselves. Besides the fact that I created it.
Yeah. But
so
yours
eventually,
is different. How? By the way, sorry to interrupt, but Yusuke just asked, "Hey, your fan animation and soon finished or what?" I'm guessing is soon finished or what? I can't wait anymore. Lol. I also can't wait, but it all depends on how much money we get. It's not finished soon. Based on the funds we're getting. However, if you want to help, go to the link in the description for Patreon and give me money so I can finish this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. That's just the other problem. Is so for the longest time I didn't really have an answer for Hashi on what's a better solution. Well, Hashi didn't have a better solution for how we can fix those problems. So eventually we came up with the idea of just making our own website. Not a wiki, a website.
Okay.
So, and this one, I even got the domain for it. It's just literally powerscaling.com.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and this is meant to be like a hub of information that anyone can access. That is basically just like, not only is it our own standards, but it should, and it's information that we can control. But it should be just like that easy to find website that that almost anyone at any level can understand.
Nice. Well, just make
and
sure
it's
you
meant
don't
to
end up
be that
being
hub.
no, it's only the scaling I agree with and so on, and trying.
Well, no,
to
yeah,
biased.
well, that's the thing is that there's not going to be any character profiles on it.
Yeah.
That's the best part of it, is that it's simply a hub of information.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping the website to be.
Yeah.
And that solves all the problems that a wiki has.
Yeah.
And that differentiates it. And then afterwards, once I feel like it's complete enough, I'm going to have see if I can reach out to some other people, see if they can get behind the website, help advertise it, and get people to see if they want. If this is something that will please them and help them in their power scaling ventures.
Yeah. Sizway asks, will that be on a new power scaling site or something? Yeah, also, please do subscribe to the Patreon. I am losing my house. I use support when it's finished, don't worry. Damn you, Yusuke. No, that's alright. Did you have the rights of the main creator to take over the Funimation? I technically was one of the main creators, but yeah, Seth and Clyde, who I was doing it with, or Clyde I'm still doing it with, did give the animation to me. I was always the lead animator and the one working on it primarily. Obviously scaling wasn't done by me, that was done by Seth and Clyde.
Will there be a new power scaling website? This is one that I'm actively creating. I haven't publicly announced it yet because it's going to take a while to finish. Because there's just going to be a lot of pages I have to get out there first.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm currently working on.
Nice. I have to do some camera animation real quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was something I was actively working on while me and Nate were watching Lucifer.
Nice. Actually,
I heard my name.
Oh, I was saying we were watching. Yep, we were. I was saying we
hear almost nothing because of this music, but I heard my name.
Oh,
yeah, I said we were
shit,
watching.
Is it really loud for you guys?
No,
No.
he's saying because Nate's creating his own music
yeah, of course.
right
I was like, sorry.
God damn it. Serpent, I need your opinion. And Omar.
Alright.
Get on my stream, bro.
Then I needed to follow him to there.
Go ass in here, Serpent.
Oh, in the...
Yeah.
Alright.
Just one moment.
I need him at the end of the camera at that point.
Alright. We got this one. Huh?
Oh, someone asked about this scaling in general. Does anyone feel like the gap between multi-galactic and universal is too wide? I don't understand. Why is the gap being wide matter? I don't know if I understand the.
Because I might be like multi-galaxy
the concern.
And, like, I can destroy a quadrant of the galaxy of the universe.
If you're wondering why, if you're wondering why the gap is wide, then I can tell you why. But if your concern is about the gap being wide in itself and that being a problem, then I would want to know why you think that's a problem. Also, somebody else asked, have you ever worked for an animation studio?
No, but I have worked for game studios before. I kind of picked up animation on a whim.
Yeah. Alright, go ahead, Nate.
Alright. So, we got this version. Like, this is the original. That's all you need here. I said that one, and then... Why do you keep asking me to save every time? I didn't do it. Hold on. And then you got this one. Which one?
Play the first one?
They're listening to music we can't hear. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Your opinion can get the hands too, Omar.
Oh, okay.
The stream is up.
Oh. Well, I'll have to pause this music for you. You know what? Yeah, this is a creative stream. Let's listen to the music. Wait, hold up. Let me just...
Well, you might want to put a warning on if you're playing that shit to, like, the actual, like, your stream. Just a warning, your ears might get violated at points.
In that case, I won't do it yet. I won't violate the stream's ears, because I love you, stream.
Yeah.
Alright, Serpent, this is the first one again. Alright.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell because I don't hear them back to back. So
What up, Stray?
Actually, I can amend that. Clone, please don't crash. I don't like a loading contact computer, but just don't crash.
Yes, I must protect your ears at all costs, my sweet.
Listen, I could turn it down, but
No. You do your thing, King.
listen, as long as Serpent says it ain't wrong, then it should be fine. That, and obviously you can fuck with it.
Also, I'm so glad so many of you are playing the stream whilst on your dates for Valentines. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Spending it with me. Get me all choked up.
I forget, is Noodles is in this server? I can't remember.
He should
No,
be.
he isn't.
I think he left,
he's
but...
I think he's live on TED Talks.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Is he debating 10-year-olds?
He literally had a he spent like last time I checked he like spent 4 hours debating Coxie versus Pain.
Damn.
On TikTok.
I mean, obviously no one gave him the hands, but
here it is back to back. Here's
so,
the first one.
to answer your question, Sheng-Wei, he said, "I'm asking because I noticed you can basically destroy thousands upon thousands of galaxies and still nowhere near universal. Basically, could there be?" So there is the tier of multi-galaxy, which is just destroying a bunch of galaxies, and then there's another tier above that that's just called high universal, which is essentially destroying everything within the known universe, or basically destroying the equivalent of the observable universe, which is something that we have actively quantified the distance of. Now, the reason why there is such a huge multi-galaxy in, say, like high, or like or just straight up universal, not high universal, is basically if there's a lot more space that you're occupying that you're actively destroying. It's like the difference between saying the reason why solar system is much more impressive than just regular large star level is because you're not just destroying a star and a couple planets, you're also destroying the space that exists in between the stars and all the rest of the other planets. Like when you think of the solar system, you're thinking about the entire body of the solar system. You aren't just considering the fact that there's a couple planets plus a star in there. You're also destroying the space in between that. Now imagine that with a bunch of galaxies.
Yeah.
And then you include the entire universe. There is so much more space in between every single galaxy. And it really just depends on how many galaxies you end up destroying to get up to possibly like the observable universe. Unless you're literally destroying everything.
By the way, sorry, I have to interrupt to defend my good name.
Yep.
Stray says, screw Valentine's Day dates, stream is more important. Thank you, Stray, you're the best. But Radio says, never stand up to good men, which is Omar. Listen, I don't like men like that. I'm kidding. Yes, no, I shouldn't stand up people, I'm sorry. He's talking about our private stream, which I'm going to be doing later next week. I had a few things come up, but next week, private stream's happening. If you want to join the Patreon, you can be part of that and see what we do and see more of the updates. Sorry, continue. With your power scaling .com talk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just basically the difference between multi-galaxy and the observable universes that you're literally is there's so much more space that you're actively destroying. Or at the very least encompassing. It's like, what's more impressive, destroying 2 houses right beside each other or 2 houses with a mile in between them, like at the exact same time?
Radio says, hey, you literally sent me nude photography today. Unreal, Omar. Listen, I do what the man says. What can I say?
Hey, I so did I.
My man.
Look, he kept pressuring me. I just send it for a friend. You can grate the cheese on those abs.
Damn right.
Alright, so far.
Yo.
You're gonna hear them back to back now, so you can actually.
Alright.
Here's the original.
Oh, my power bottom confirmed. Listen.
Which one?
Play them again?
Bruh.
Bruh. He's a good sub. Speaking of, subscribe to me. No, I'm kidding.
I'm trying to think because I don't know what kind of vibe you're trying to get with it.
Just tell me which one you like.
The first one.
Alright. Here. Now I gotta find something that works with this because the guitar does not work. The guitar said, I want all that fucking space and you're not gonna have any. For your ears' sake.
You would be correct that high universal means infecting an infinite 3D space. I misspoke earlier.
Enjoy straight. See you soon. You misspoke earlier. What?
Yeah, I should only call them high universal, destroying the observable universe when it's destroying an infinite size space.
How can you run a power scaling website and don't even know the terms, damn it? No, I'm kidding. Might skip this song as well.
Oh, bad. That honestly works. I just need to find it. Oh, no. What? Oh.
Yeah, that'll have to work. Okay.
Alrighty. Oh, we'll stray his head now.
Yeah, I said goodbye already.
Yep.
Gotta treat our cleanup and color artist correct.
It's weird because Hashi usually fills in the gaps with some nonsense, but he's not here. Even though I told him.
I haven't spoken to Hashi in a while. Where has he been?
Yeah. He's supposed to be up right now. I don't understand why he's not here.
Yeah, what the heck? This isn't like Hashi.
Yeah.
Also, I know it's weird that I'm drawing out the frame. It will make sense when the camera moves back in. Yeah, have faith.
I do not understand this.
Why does he move like this?
Actually, let me check TikTok real quick to see if Noodles is actually.
What is he debating today?
No idea.
Best debate of our time? Question mark. Okay.
There you go.
A generational talent.
He actually is not streaming right now.
Oh.
Hey, what, sir? The next time you go to the store, you gotta get some of this sausage. It's so good.
Sorry, what?
Not the kind of sausage you're talking
Pause.
about.
Where?
About the animation, I see TSOs are going to be used. I just wonder if you guys are going to explain that a soul from Naruto would be the same or similar to a soul in Bleach for people who are skeptical. I think they will explain that in like the power scaling part of the video.
I just wonder if you guys are going to explain that a soul from Naruto would be the same or similar. You were who are skeptical. Oh, I'm sure that will be explained.
It's been 80 years, great to see. Listen, Albert, I will get you.
It's been 80 years. Don't worry, Omar. I know how you feel. They'd be saying that about me making videos all the time.
No, it's just Wade every time. It's a little thing. It's alright. Once it comes out, I'm expecting to see his as the top comment. Like, wow, you're finally done after 10,000 years.
It will just be the fuck. It will just be the Thanos gif. Yeah. It's like now I must rest. As I watch a grateful universe.
Yeah.
Like literally, I was telling Hashi that like when the tiering system video comes out, I'm just gonna have the beginning literally be SpongeBob writing the. Like, you remember that part where he's like, I gotta write this essay, and he's like, I'm doing it, almost there, and it's just a drawn the.
No.
You haven't seen that?
No. That's
Omar,
funny.
you are not cultured.
Nope. No, I am not. I'm just in a basement animating all the time. I'm kidding.
Man, why isn't Radio in here? Probably working still.
Yeah, probably. It's a shame. I should have, if I'd had more time, I would have gotten the specific love songs, like non-copyrighted versions, to play for the stream.
You could just play some good old sax.
Yeah.
Oh. Non-copyright. Interesting.
I'm asking because I know some people don't like verse equalizing. I'm personally okay with it. Yeah. That's the problem. Is when you come across someone who's not a fan of verse equalization, then there's like a lot more BS that you have to explain to them about why it's this more or less the same.
Well, I don't think with verse when they say verse equalization, do they mean like try and take in the logic of one verse and put it into the other, or see where it would fit the same, or do they mean like it's just the soul, so it's the same as this other soul?
Kind of both.
Okay.
It's basically equalizing them to a point where we can say that characters can interact with each other, and that certain attacks would work on the other. But and it's just like, oh yeah, if this other character can affect souls, then reasonably so he should be able to affect someone else who also is a soul or has a soul or whatever. And it's just like, oh, and then it's like, we should also assume that a key attack should be able to harm somebody even if they're not a key person or a chakra person or whatnot.
I agree with.
It's just,
I mean, like it's kind of odd to me because like, verse equalization in terms of like we say it should be reasonable. Like the energy form used, whether it's chakra, key, whatever, if it can affect like a living tangible thing, then it will still always affect them. You can't just say like, because if like Goku came here and he can use ki, wouldn't mean that a Kamehameha wouldn't hurt me. When we see it like destroying things in his world, and you could say everything's made up of ki, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that like the energy output is not interacting with us.
It's like, for example, people try to like downplay the whole thing with Genjutsu working. Because like, it's like if Ichigo or Goku don't have chakra, then it's not going to affect them, and it's like, well, that's not exactly how that works, and either.
Yeah.
And the thing is just like, verse equalization was mainly because the other thing is like when you kind of also don't consider it, then you have to get into these super deep intricacies of how both energy systems are defined, and then. But the thing is, like, when you end up boiling it down to how they're both defined, you end up finding they're far more similar. Because just because they're named differently doesn't mean that they are like inherently different.
Well, and also you find that like things like that are in the real world. Like for example, in our real world, people have chakra systems. It's in like, not in the same way, obviously, but like that's where the original idea derives from. So like, if you have a body in any of these places, and it's even described in the Naruto universe, you'll have a chakra system. So I don't see
the thing
why
is
that one's
like
such a crazy one to like equalize.
It's like, well, what is chakra? And it's like, oh, it's the mixing of physical and spiritual energies. And it's like, oh, what is Ryatsu? It's spiritual energies. It's like when you start boiling down to what they are, at even at like the minute level, it's like, okay, it's just like chakra is just barely any different. So why? It's just a mixing of a different energy system, type of energy into itself to create something new.
Yeah.
So why would that be different? And then there's like another one where, like, say me and Hashi were having this conversation about how would Naruto characters deal with Logias, and whether or not would their elemental chakra attacks even hurt something that's basically the element of something. And we said, even if we assumed that chakra-based attacks wouldn't do anything, then at the very least, we can assume that something like sage energy would, because you're literally deriving the energy produced from nature into yourself to then harm something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what happens if you like absorb too much nature energy? You become one with.
You cut out there. You become one what?
Sage Mode Naruto. Yeah, if Sage Mode Naruto were to punch a Logia, he should reasonably hurt them.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't that work? And the other thing is like, when people try to say like, oh, Logias in One Piece can only be harmed by like the use of sea stone, or which is basically just like oceanic crust made into like a type of like cup or whatever, and hockey. And it's just like, and what is hockey? And then when you kind of boil it down, depending on who you ask, it's kind of just spiritual essence that you can then use to then harden your body, and you are then able to interact with the physical, like the physical bodies of those Logia users. It doesn't necessarily depower them; it just allows you to interact with them and actually harm them. Because otherwise, attacks just go right through them.
Like that light guy. Not kidding.
Yeah. So it's just like, if that's the case, why, if like chakra is the mixing of physical and spiritual energies, then why wouldn't they harm Logia users? And it's like, under that same thing, like, I guess it's like, why wouldn't something like Keto's work on a Logia users if it's like using like spiritual energies like Ryatsu in order to be casted upon them? Like, it seems fairly reasonable that stuff should work that way.
I agree.
It's an expression of you as you are.
But no, people just wanna,
What up, Coco?
because they have like this attachment to characters that they don't want certain ones getting too powerful or seem like they're not as invincible as as they believe they should be perceived.
Yeah.
So they'll like be like, no, Logia users can only be affected by these things and these things only.
By the way, it's very good, Code Grey.
Yep. If I were to play Devil's Advocate, maybe people don't like it because it gives characters advantages like they don't have previously. Asta versus Naruto, so that's a huge one.
Why is that a huge one?
Like the main criticism I see with reverse equalization is because people don't like it, because they think it gives other characters unnecessary advantages that they otherwise wouldn't have. And they always bring up Asta as like a main talking point in regards to that.
Okay.
And they would, because Asta's main power is power nullification.
Oh, I thought it was mana nullification.
What?
I thought it was mana nullification.
It is. I'm just broadening it. Like,
okay.
But yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like,
because mana is
although
a
I
slightly
understand
different system to like ki and chakra and stuff. For example, like you could shut off someone's chakra system and they would still be able to produce ki if you're like using our world and like where these things come from as a base. Because mana is a slightly different thing. Doesn't it come from like Hawaii or something? Mana, the idea of
mana. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's just like, well, so it's like, well, how is mana defined in verse? And it kind of goes into that whole other. Because that's the thing where it's just like, I understand where people get that idea, and it's just like that at least makes sense. Though I don't believe. It really depends on. Because the thing is that mana can end up creating attacks that end up spelling into what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like chakra where it ends up creating these situations.
Yeah.
Like say like they can manipulate water with it or they can manipulate the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
In the same manner. And it's just like the thing is too is that it's kind of weird to explain, and I wish I really want to make a video about how Asta actually interacts with every other verse, and it ultimately dives into all these systems are defined and how they work.
Well, I mean, like for example, you know the in Mushoku Tensei there's a Hydra that nullifies mana around it. I don't think it would nullify, say, like Goku's Kamehameha around it in the same way. Because they're still like a slightly different system at use, even though like the descriptions might be spiritual.
Oh no,
power.
yeah, well, because at that point it's just like, has Asta? Because then my question would be, has Asta ever nullified something that is spiritual in nature?
Yeah.
Has his anti-magic ever worked like that? Because that's where I had conversations with people about whether or not Asta can go up against Gojo, and can he literally cut through infinity? And it's like, okay, well, the question is, has Asta ever come up against somebody that is able to manipulate space? And he's been able to nullify that.
He has come up against someone who has been able to manipulate space.
No, yeah, he has. Yeah. And that's my exact reason for why he would be able to just cut through infinity and just cut Gojo in half.
Damn, okay.
It's just not a fit. And it's like Yami's even the worst case. System?
Because like a curse energy is slightly different to the mana they use.
No, it is. The thing is that they're using curse. It's not that necessarily that they're cutting through curse energy. It's that he's using curse energy to manipulate space.
Oh, okay. So, like, you would say that Asta isn't nullifying mana; he's actually nullifying the effects of like the things they're affecting. Because I would have thought that, like, the reason he's able to change space is because he's like manipulating it by like threading his mana through it, for example, or creating that space via mana, rather than like.
Yeah. So it's like he wouldn't be cutting through curse energy. He would be cutting through the fact that he would be cutting through space itself. Granted, Yami is much more of like a hard case for that, because that's a literal, like, his dimension slasher literally does that.
Yeah.
And it's even more demonstrated in the anime, like even more so when he comes across, all the captains fight each other in the anime.
Yeah,
and he gets like teleported inside this like universe, and he literally cuts it in half and gets out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, in that case, Yami would just literally, he just has like Sukuna's like world slash. Like, that's literally what it is. Because that's the thing that people don't understand about the dimension slash is that, or just the world slash, is that Gojo's infinity works by manipulating space, and that's what Sukuna had to realize was in order for him to bypass infinity, he would have to cut the world that Gojo is currently living in, because that's what he's manipulating in order to stop people from touching him. So as long as he cuts the world along with Gojo, then he dies. And it doesn't matter whether or not he's manipulating space to do it, because he's literally cutting through space. So...
That's cool. So does Asta solo then?
Oh no, he does. And the thing is too is like Gojo has no means of actually killing Asta either. Asta is just way too fast, and he would be able to count Asta is too fast. Gojo can't hit him with anything. None of his attacks would work on Asta to begin with, and Asta would just eventually kill him.
Asta v Naruto, who's winning?
Asta versus Naruto?
Yeah.
That one's a bit weird.
Because
though
like
I do think, no, it's just like I don't remember what the exact speed skill in ninja. I think if Naruto is an adult, he definitely wins.
Okay.
There's just like a much stronger case for his speed and strength being higher than Asta's.
Yeah.
I do think Asta's anti-magic would be able to parry away stuff like the truth-seeking orbs.
Really interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
even though
because they kind of work fundamentally the same.
Okay.
Because their whole thing is erasing both energy-based systems, right? So realistically, they should be able to interact with each other.
Even though they're spiritual in nature, because you said that Asta hasn't interacted with anything spiritual in nature.
As far as I can remember, I would have to look back and see whether or not that's truly the case. But yeah, as far as I know, Naruto would win that fight pretty handedly.
You heard it first. He's the better loud boy.
Yes, indeed. I like Asta a lot, and funny enough, there was this post that I came across about who would have a more interesting villain arc if they had one. And it was like between like all the different like shonen protagonists, like Naruto, let me actually pull it up real quick. I feel like that'd be a fun discussion to have right now. Okay, here it is. So if you look in DMs, that was the selection of characters, and its course is not. I hate when Twitter links don't embed, so I have to screw with it. There we go.
Okay, 1 second.
Now I want to ask you, who do you think out of all those characters, who do you think would be most interesting if they were to become a villain?
1 sec, let me finish this line and then I'll have a look. And we can look at it with chat. Let's go. Okay, let's have a look together, chat. If any of these had a villain arc, Goku. Straight up. Goku or Ichigo would be really fun.
My thing was like what made sense to me was like who's more likely to become a villain.
Oh,
and
Asta, sure. Probably.
who's the one that makes the most. It's like I said, I think if Asta became evil, it would be like there is an actual route for him to become evil. And it's essentially it all entirely depends on whether or not he becomes friends with Yuno or not.
Yeah.
And if he never became friends with Yuno, then and if he had a different type of ambition, because he, unlike Naruto, his situation was kind of similar to Naruto in Chapter 1. However, the big difference is that Asta was going to give up entirely. And, well, Naruto was just straight up, like, he was probably going to become a rogue shinobi after that. if Ruka or Yuno didn't step in and basically give them, like, validate their existence.
Yeah.
And it's just like Asta can literally go to the Diamond Kingdom, and which hosts a couple people who have contracts with devils, and that's where he can eventually make his rise.
Yeah.
And he could be like this ultimate weapon to bring the world down, because he is the ultimate counter to everyone if trained correctly.
Would he have as
The
much
only one
drive to do it, though, I wonder?
Yeah.
Would he reach the same heights? That'd be a fun, like, what if I'd like, read for sure.
Now, here's my question to you. Out of all those characters, who is the least interesting, or better yet, who is the one you don't see ever becoming evil?
Luffy. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
same.
but...
Well, because that's the thing, right? Is my exact point was, if Luffy was evil, one, what does evil classify as in One Piece?
Yeah.
And it's just like, if Luffy is just literally the world government, like levels of evil, then he's not Luffy anymore.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. He's not the same character whatsoever. And it's like, oh, it's like him being evil with him being a Marine. And it's just like, no, if Luffy was a Marine, he would realize immediately how flawed it was, considering how much less freedom he has being under everybody, and he would try to overthrow the Marines. He would literally just pull stuff that his dad is literally doing right now, trying to overthrow the world government and destroy the Navy. Yuji doesn't make sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, Yuji would be kind of weird. I feel like he'd be kind of boring as well, to be evil.
Like, yeah, he would be boring, and it's just like, how does he, like, become an actual threat to anyone? Because his whole journey was the fact that he literally had one of, like, the strongest person in the entire series train him.
Yeah.
Kind of. And it's just like, who would he... It's like, if he becomes evil, he basically just becomes a lackey to either Geto, or becomes like Kenjaku, or he becomes a lackey to Sukuna.
Yeah.
At that point, he's no longer an interesting character anymore.
Yeah.
And then at all.
And then you got Denji, who'd just be too easy and kind of boring if he was a bad guy. Like, I don't know. The whole... That'd be boring. Ichigo would be weird if he was a bad guy. That would be really weird. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
He also, I don't think, would be... I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't be him anymore?
Tanjiro, I think, would just be his dad, like his ancestor.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be interesting. It's like, oh, it's just him, his ancestor 2.0. That's not interesting at all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, turning the pure heart character into becoming evil, and it's like, oh yeah, like, and basically he would just be his ancestor. Like, that's not interesting at all. Denji would just end the world, and it's not interesting anymore. And there'd be no one there to stop him.
Progressing in character.
Yeah, true. Gon basically kind of was going on a villain arc, kind of. Like, he was being like all revenge.
Yeah.
Like, he basically already had a villain arc, and we saw what that looked like.
Yeah. Which was interesting, but a whole series would have been like, eh.
Yeah, well, it's just like, if he was evil from the beginning, does he just become like kid with major daddy issues?
Yeah.
Like, because Gon didn't care that his father left, because he already had a good parent to take care of him, and that's all that mattered to him. And then all he wanted to do after that was figure out why his father left for hunting. Like, he was just genuinely curious, and it's just like, oh, now the difference is that he's vengeful now?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sound interesting.
Even though there was, like, that thing as well with Naruto being... there was that filler where we had evil Naruto. I feel like it could have been done way better, and an evil Naruto series would have actually been quite interesting, I do feel.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is that evil Naruto is literally something that was talked about throughout the series as something that literally could have happened.
Yeah.
Naruto talks about it, other characters talk about it. It's just like, it literally, if Iruka didn't do anything or say anything, then Naruto would have been in Sasuke's shoes, and now their roles are reversed.
Yep.
He's the rogue shinobi trying to end everything. And the thing is like, unlike instances with Denji, there are characters that will actively try to stop Naruto, and he actually engages in conflict.
Yeah.
So that becomes interesting. I literally was about to create this thread where I'm just like, Goku, like evil Goku is just insert Kakarot meme here.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, he's not Goku anymore, he's Kakarot.
I remember during the Tournament of Power, everybody had theories when a preview for the episode where he fights Kel and Khalifa came out. They're like, oh, he's going evil mode.
Just like the opening. Oh shit.
And then what came out, I was like, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what does evil... Yeah, just like you're saying, what does evil Ichigo even look like?
Maybe
is it just
tries to...
we know what he looks like.
Maybe he's like kind of like Yuha, who like...
No, he's literally Ginjo.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He's literally like what Ichigo could have turned into. He's literally just another substitute story.
But I'm feeling like in terms of like his whole thing of like protecting those he loves and all that shit. I feel I don't know.
I think like Ichigo, if he went evil, some people I think propose like it's like what if White took over?
Yeah.
Essentially. Like that's what evil Ichigo would have looked like. Which would have been interesting, because it's like, okay, how far does he start progressing in strength? And does he just become this threat that the Soul Society has to actively take on just like with Yuha?
I don't know if it would have been interesting, because it would have just been like a force of nature villain, like, and in that story it wouldn't have felt that cool. Whereas I do feel like him who's like trying to save his friends who died, and that's how he became evil, because he's like, I need to destroy everything, recreate it so there's no death like Yuha, would probably be a more interesting thing, but like, again, I don't know. Or like fighting for the strength to like bring his mum back or something like that. Destroying like the system that did it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it would just be like, for a lot of these characters to be like, when is like the most reasonable point of divergence where they could have become evil?
Yeah.
And it's just like Naruto is like, it's like verbatim stated where that point of divergence would have been. And it's just like, Luffy doesn't have one. He literally just does not have one.
Yeah. Oh, what up, Mika? Oh, and Sizway also said something. The World Slash is kind of funny. Let's say Sukuna was fighting Dio. Would the World Slash even move through time stop? Actually, that's a question.
You know, it's the World Slash. It's not the world's strongest Slash, though.
He's no Mihawk. Oh man, that's
guys,
the problem is that
Mihawk or
Gojo. Yeah. The problem is that Sukuna doesn't have any answer to time stop itself, so it's not a matter of whether or not he would actually cut through time stop. He doesn't have any resistances to time stop at all. So Dio would just kill like Sukuna by chopping his head off when he's in time stop. It just would not be a fair fight at all.
Yeah.
It's like if Sukuna had like a resistance to time stop, then something might happen, but he doesn't. Like we said, me and Hashi have like talked about before, Sukuna is just Homelander 2.0. Like the strong character in the verse, but when you take him out and you start comparing him to everyone else in fiction, you realize how garbage he is.
But wasn't everyone putting Gojo against everyone then for a while? Like,
Well, it was originally Gojo, but then when he got his body cut in half, he was no longer like in that means of discussion now, because Sukuna was the one that killed him.
Yeah.
And now it seems like, and then everyone was literally jumping him like he was Madara. And it's just like, okay, is he actually? It's like, and then people are like, okay, Sukuna's the strongest in JJK, and it's like, how does Sukuna fare with everybody else? And it's like, he's garbage. Like when you actually actively look about it, he's garbage.
You know who would beat Gojo and Sukuna at the same time?
Who?
Many people.
Lucifer. You gotta make that video on Seraphon just to piss people.
Oh yeah, he would just literally.
I still want to see
Make them
a
explode.
supernatural video from Surfbone. That's what I want to see.
Well, that's gonna happen soon.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, I literally told you about
Yeah, I know.
Sam and Dean versus Kira.
Yep, that's gonna be hype.
Which, yep. Let me actually look how long that video is. Duplicate 10.
By the way, once we've finished doing this rough, we'll slowly move beyond tie downs next time, hopefully.
Oh, it's actually not as long as I thought it was. It is 8 pages long.
Huh. That's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's when you write on phone, you think it's really long,
Yeah, but it's
but then I'm now looking at it like, oh, okay, it's not that long. Because the tiering system video is 11 pages right now. Actually, that's not including the fact that there's like extra bits at the bottom.
Do I need to make this a bit bigger? I think I do. Damn it!
Damn.
Damn it!
What about Maharaga versus Dio? The problem is that the inherent problem with using Maharaga in versus battles is the fact that and this is with just adaptation in general, depending on the manner of adaptation in versus battle and power scaling discussions is like incredibly overrated, because you would have to assume that the fight is going to last a really long time in order for any adaptation to occur. And it's like with Maharaga, his takes quite a bit to happen. Like he has to actively take hits from that attack in order for him to adapt to anything. And he has to actively suffer the consequences of getting hit by it. So unless Maharaga is active, like he is able to survive long enough, then we can't say he's able to adapt to just anything and then eventually win. Unless the other opponent is just that subsequently weak. And then we also assume that he is able to adapt to anything, which is just a blatant no limits fallacy. Because someone just like I remember I came across this TikTok that assumed, like, they said like a fully adapted Maharaga versus Goku. And Omar, without me saying anything else, what do you think is the inherent problem with that?
What do they mean by fully adapted?
Exactly.
I can tell you what that means.
Literally, that's exactly what my question is. Yeah.
At most, it would mean he's adapted to everything in JJK. That's not Dragon Ball, though.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like, oh yeah, like, that was my exact question: is what does fully adapted even mean, and who does it apply to? It's like, does he fully adapt to Goku? Because that is a very because it's a present DC. And it's just like it's like, oh, Maho. It's like, okay, then it's just like it's like a kid saying, I have no weaknesses, I am stronger than you, I have prepared for everything, I win. That's basically what that is. And it's like, oh my god, it's like, well, what if we gave Maharaga everything he needed to kill Goku? It's like, I guess he kills him. Like, oh man, like, were you expecting a back and forth with that question?
What if Goku?
You can make a video about that and be like, oh, who would win, fully adapted Maharaga or Bobo?
And it's just like,
what kind of question is that, bro?
It's almost just as dumb as if like as a statement, if Batman was given enough prep time, he could defeat anybody.
But he
and
could,
the only reason, like the only
kidding.
problem, and the thing is, like the difference between that question, like that statement, and the question of Maharaga, is that it's the reason why it's not as ludicrous with Batman is because he has like over a century's worth of comics that he could fall back on, to where that is true in most scenarios that you put Batman in. Is that if you do give him enough prep time, he does win. But the thing is that most people, and it's like most people don't read that don't read comics. They just think that just applies, and they've never read a comic before. And the thing is with Maharaga, it's like, oh, if you gave him full means of adapting to somebody, it's like, yeah, if he survives, which Goku does a Kamehameha against Maharaga, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to somehow regenerate from being completely vaporized?
Yes.
It's just like Goku punches him once and he gets clocked and he's out onto the afterlife.
Can he adapt to universe erasure?
The short answer is no. Yeah, like Goku decides to blow up the planet. What is Maharaga doing then? Is he adapting to the fact that he's literally suffocating to death in the vacuum of space? No, Maharaga is going to die before he has a chance to adapt to anything.
Just checking the camera movement on this.
At least with Doomsday, the same thing can't kill him twice, and because of that, he's and like again, like with Batman, he has like centuries worth of like information, like of like comic books to fall back on, which then allows him to be like, yeah, he's almost practically immune to that because he's already dealt with that before, and his body can't be killed in that exact same manner.
Yeah.
It's just like you can't. It's like once you like look at other characters like in fiction that have adaptation, you realize that his is just not as good. And like someone even brought up, he's like, man, this is just like every SCP-682 conversation ever. It's like, what if we just give him the ability to adapt to his opponent? It's like, man, bro, I guess he wins then, doesn't he?
What about Maharaga vs Dio? Would he be able to adapt?
I don't think so. Which, like, how does he... It's like, if he has to suffer damage as a result of something, how does he exactly, like, adapt to time stop? It's like, I think what will happen is that Dio realizes he can't just act... I think... Because I'm trying to remember whether or not it says that, like, Maharaga can't be killed by means of slashing. Because Sukuna gave him the route of adapting to the idea of physical, of cutting attacks. Man, I always misspell how Maharaga's name is spelled.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do some animations. Well, animation? Well, of course I am. Some camera animation stuff before we end the stream. Trying to figure out where I want the camera moving and how, and what I want reacting to it.
Let's see. The ability to adapt to any and all phenomenon. Oh man, let's see. You know what? I'm lazy. I'm just gonna look at what a wiki says about him. Because let's see, description, blah blah blah. made visible through the turning wheel. If the general is hit by a particular attack, the wheel turns once, and the attack is analyzed, and Maharaga adapts. If its adversary uses that same technique again, Maharaga will counter it from then on. Generally speaking, Maharaga's adaptation can be defensive in nature, becoming physically resistant / immune to attacks while healing any injuries, including incurred pre-adaptation. Auxiliary allowing as well as offensive in nature, letting Maharaga modify the properties of his own attacks to overcome and bypass enemy defenses, such as switching from positive to cursed energy around its swords, depending on whether or not it faces a curse or a human sorcerer, or developing space-cutting slashes to overcome a barrier of infinity. Maharaga's adaptation process begins analyzing an attack upon initially receiving it, with its progress being inducted by the number of times the 8 handled wheel spins. After a certain amount of time, the adaptation is completed. During this time, if Maharaga is hit by the same attack additional times, the process is sped up each time. Even after its adaptation is complete, Maharaga continues its analysis and develops different ways to counter the phenomenon. If Maharaga is tamed, its user can bear the burden of adaptation. This means the user can wear Maharaga's wheel and experience attacks so the Shikigami can adapt to them without incurring the risk of destruction. Once the process is complete, Maharaga can be summoned with the results of the adaptation already in effect. Okay.
It's pretty good in my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, so... would he be able to adapt? I think... I would have to check again what Dio's attack potency is. Because if that's the case, and especially if considering what has been done with his battle with Sukuna, he might not be able to kill Maharaga. And he might just become like an actual stone wall to him that can't be killed.
Well, on that note, I have to end the stream. Thank you all for joining me.
Alright.
I hope your Valentines continues to be awesome. And know that I appreciate you joining me for this date. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep with happy tears, and wish you were holding me.